Already level 6. Even
All right.
before 6 minutes. And there's another kill coming in, so 2-1 for right now.
First few minutes were just the players weren't doing much, so that way we could make sure that all the technical difficulties were out of the way. But now that the casters are here, the game has begun. 2-1 so far. The gold lead is pretty much even. However, a Fed Z is something that CMU are not going to want to deal with at all. And the issue is not only did he pick up that solo kill, but look how many minions he's ahead by. 18 minions after only a few minutes of lane phase. This is really, really scary.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to go ahead and order the champions so that we can see exactly where those advantages are. Of course, yeah, mid lane, as you pointed out, Seamoose is definitely a source of one advantage. Now, with a ward down on the bottom half of the map, Double Lift will not be very aggressive with his ganks down there, at least until he gets that razor sharp buff from the Raptor camp and clears out that ward. So, for the time being, it does appear as if Christian Gross and Oliver Queen... What a duo name, lane to name yourself. Are doing pretty well on the bottom half of the map as well. They're almost up that 10 CS and shoved away in turret before recalling. So everything appears to be going pretty well, at least for the start here on UPike. They haven't really been met with too many obstacles, and even that one kill was traded back in a 1-for-1 up in the top lane. And I don't think the Big Red's going to be feeling too much difficulty up there, because, oh, by the way, it's basically a 2v1 lane. Italy's been up there a lot.
Yeah, we see Mash29 is just hovering around there. He's putting a ward down. There isn't that much vision for Double Lift in his jungle, but the thing is, obviously, Rek'Sai, using her passive, is able to see a lot without really needing to have wards around. Not only with her passive, obviously, but also, you know, occasionally the enemy might just kill a turret, or not a turret, kill one of the tunnels, and then even though you don't have a ward there, you know, oh, someone must have killed that. You know, now I know where that enemy jungler would be. Exactly.
All right, so here we go. We're still in the early phases of the game. We haven't seen anything too drastic happen. No lane is just over. But it'll be interesting to see how this top lane works out, because, Prine has shown a lot of mechanical acuity, but, oh, can he get this top lane down? Nope, Deathmark in there. He is countered out. So he's going to stay alive again. Riposte is a good ability.
Yeah, and also, you have to use it well. Prime has had some prime riposte so far.
I actually read his name as Prime the first time I was doing research for it last night. I was like... And top laner is Prime. No, it's Prime. There's not an extra hump there on the end, so I got it eventually.
Is Prime just his name, or is that an actual word?
I've never actually heard the word Prime.
I've heard of Brine and Prime, but never Prine.
Oh, man. Well, if somebody knows the definition of that out there, definitely let us know, because, I kind of pride myself on... knowing weird, wacky words.
Rabbit, it's not pride, it's prine. Come on, man. I thought you read this already.
I pride myself on...
Yeah.
It just sounds so weird.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, though. I like the names in these teams. They're pretty sweet.
All right, yeah, especially that, Double Lift shout-out in the jungle. Yeah. Not quite his role, but, it's there eventually. Double Lift actually did play jungle as one of his first roles way back in the day. Before you had established roles, he would play.
Oh, really? Was it preseason, season 1?
Season 1, yeah. So,
oh, wow.
Well, yeah, that was back when every player played every role, so you just swapped based on what you felt like.
Mm-hmm.
It was a simpler time then, seems.
Yeah.
So Double Lift.
He played a lot of Blitzcrank back then too, didn't he?
A lot of Blitzcrank, Poppy, and Janna. Those were pretty great. But bottom lane, that's where the action's at. Yeah, nice engage there. Black Shield, though, it's a pretty good spell, and that'll help Lucian get out of there alive. Flashes, though, that's a good way to put some damage down. And True Shot Barrage. Oh my goodness, the Prey Seeker almost hitting there. Christian Gross gets out with just under 50 HP.
If Oliver Queen hadn't stood in the way of the True Shot Barrage, I think that actually would have been a kill.
Oh, that's true, because it reduces the damage.
Yep, so very nice there from the bottom lane of Pike to get away from that. We see their jungler mid duo trying to get a little bit harassed on, but speaking of harass...
Yeah, we got a lot of action on the top half of the map there. One more Vital to proc there on that Grand Challenge would have made a big difference, but to Big Red, turns out that ult... It's going to subjugate his way to victory, at least in that trade, and it's going to force Fiora back to base.
Yeah, and the camera currently looking at the mid lane. We might see a gank here.
Jumping all the way back in. 100 didn't want to ult himself prematurely, but I guess he could have saved it, but better safe than sorry. Didn't want to get Zed ulted. He does have that death mark available, so better to make sure you get out alive and just, take the hit, head back to base, and not wind up, evening up the score.
Hey, Rapid, do you remember which champion CMU banned? Who they specifically target banned?
Yeah, they targeted Hunter.
Yeah,
they targeted Hollywood.
So he has now, what would have been his 4th pick?
Well, 5th pick if he played Lulu, but he doesn't actually play that much Lulu, so yeah, he's still doing very well on...
That is... Yeah, his lead at this point is ludicrously far ahead.
Top lane, though, we've got another lead that's starting to get ludicrously far ahead. Whoa, to Big Red. If that Vital had shown up in the wrong place, he might have just died there to the burst. So, a big recall back from base. That's the lifesteal that Prine picked up, working towards the Ravenous Hydra.
Double Lift didn't see that. Okay, that was close. Double Lift was he was burrowed, so he wasn't able to see that Zed was so close. And had Hollywood and Aegon for that, he might have been able to pick up a kill there.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind as a Rek'Sai when you're playing this way that sometimes champions are just standing still waiting in brushes, and you gotta watch out for that, otherwise you face check into a Zed with death mark up, and, well, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. The Big Red. What do you think? Prime, do you think he's gonna dive this? I feel like he might be able to.
He's trying to. He really is.
Low.
Little dashes in like that, but he's going to run out of a minion wave. Well, and Big Red does have Subjugate up, so you never want to dive with Subjugate up. Otherwise, you just kind of die. We're seeing it. You can tell he's thirsty for it.
Yeah, I definitely would be. I think most carry-type top laners would... you want to be the carry. You want to get the kills. You have a 30 minion CS lead, but... Is that really winning, Rapid, if you don't have kills to back up? Oh,
Grand Challenge is one way, but a flash out is going to be good enough. However, unfortunately, Prine took a turret shot and is out of mana, so he's going to have to just use that flash to get away from here. Has to avoid the spear being thrown, does so, but unfortunately just has no more options, out of resources, and will go down for her 2nd death of the game.
Yeah, Mash29, knowing that since Prine was playing so aggressively, it's only a matter of time before he goes for the dive. And now, speaking of aggression, Hollywood wanted to go in on that, but Hunter trades back very, very nicely.
Yeah, and that's always the weakness, is Zed, that people keep telling you is a weakness, but you never really believe them because he's still so strong. Teleport down to the bottom lane, though. The Big Red trying to take out Double Lift, but he is actually making his way back. No, he is down. That's going to be Shyfron, the next to fall. No, just barely able to escape himself. Baby Birdo, though, he's going to get locked down, and as cruel as it sounds to be killing off Baby Birdos, he is out of there this time. Prime, though, he's now in a 1v3, not necessarily the spot you want to find yourself in, and there's not too much that Shyfron can do. Prime's where is he supposed to go? Gets blocked out by a great pillar. Now he's going to go down a 6-1 start here for UPike.
Yeah, this is a great start for UPike. Just a couple of moments ago, they were up only a few kills and only a little bit as far as gold is concerned. But now, after getting all of these kills, they are going to be able to pick up the first turret of the game. And when you're playing this kind of a composition, based off of Nidalee specifically, you really have to snowball. And, so far, they've started the snowball. Let's see if they can keep it rolling.
Yeah, and that's always sort of the burden, is that so you win your early lane phase when you're 1v1ing, but when it comes to the team game, all of a sudden things don't work out so well. However, it does appear as if UPike are making a pretty good transition from the lane phase into the the jungle, into other lanes to start some ganks and some global objectives being taken, like that first dragon of the game, which will go to UPike at 14.5 minutes.
And the nice thing is that the only lane that really has suffered from what we've seen so far was that top lane. Fiora did get a small CS advantage and was bullying Trundle a lot. However, Trundle's gotten a decent amount of gold with the 1 kill, 4 assists he has, and it's not as if Trundle is a champion who necessarily needs gold. In fact, to a certain extent, the more gold the enemies of Trundle has, the stronger he becomes with that Subjugate. So he's likely just going to complete this Trinity Force and then go for tanky items and just try and steal the stats away from the tanky members of CMU. Oh, Prime, that is a lot of damage.
Yeah, and the Grand Challenge is still on, but unfortunately won't be being proc. But that Prime guy, he's pretty good at getting out alive, which means that those 3 deaths that he has, he did his utmost to avoid. Like, there's so many times this game where he just barely got out alive, and he still died 3 times. So that's a lot of pressure to deal with in the top lane.
Well, that might speak to CMU maybe playing a little bit too recklessly in the top lane, There certainly hasn't been I mean, there's definitely been vision for the red team in the top side, but it apparently just hasn't been enough because they've been camping Prine all game long.
Yeah, it's been a little bit ridiculous to think about how much this Fiora has gone through. And to be fair, if there hadn't been any pressure, Prime might have still been able to put down some awesome stats up top. Now he's going to get a gank, and we'll see how effective this is. Now Baby Birdo's coming in as well. He will get some extra slow in there.
Okay.
So suddenly, that's where you type in, bot MIA, just to passive-aggressively remind the rest of your team that, hey, their champion just came top and helped get a kill. However, in the mid lane, a really good counter there by UPike to say, hey, we lost our top laner, but we're going to get something for it by pushing down their second turret of the game in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you have to do when so much pressure is put into a lane, is you have to take objectives somewhere else. That's something that we haven't seen CMU do, but we've seen Pike do very, very well after picking up that mid turret. They now have both turrets, and they also have the first dragon. So they are leading in terms of his objectives, and Hollywood and NA is looking for another kill. Not going to be able to get that. So he hasn't actually been able to get many kills, but he's forced a lot of recalls just because of how much damage these death marks have done.
Yeah, kind of interesting itemization there, going for the Maw of Malmortius completion. Usually you'll see just the Hex Drinker, and then still going for more standard items like a Yomu's Ghostblade or Black Cleaver or something like that. But he actually just went full-on Maw of Malmortius.
It's curious, too, because I might understand that if there's a lot of magic damage from the enemy team, but other than Lulu, who doesn't even provide as much damage, and Ezreal to a certain extent, there isn't that much ability power-based damage from Central Michigan. So perhaps that's simply just an item preference that he likes to complete first. Not entirely sure there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad item by any means. You're going up against a team composition who does have a fair amount of magic damage between Lulu and Braum, and Ezreal even does a little bit himself, so definitely don't want that when you're facing off against Prime, though. And to be fair, this is a better version of Maw Malmortius than we had in Season 5. So it does give armor penetration, and the passive life grip definitely helps you come back from low life with a bunch of burst healing from that spell vamp and life steal. So
yeah, that is a good point. And the buffs it's gotten in this season have been pretty useful, but Double Lift now getting caught out.
Oh my gosh, those spears from Mash have been so good. And now all of a sudden, UPike making that rotation from mid lane to top lane, probably looking to take this turret down as well.
Finding into spear, nothing that the jungler for CMU could have done there. And with 4 to 5, all 5 members now grouped up in this top lane, Rapid, you gotta wonder, that turret probably isn't going to be staying around for very long.
Oh, he's certainly not. And it is the last remaining outer turret for Central Michigan University. They will be forced to give it up, and that'll be 3 turrets to 0. Really, Central Michigan struggling to get their global objective game on. Pushing down the mid lane, I mean, sure, that's great, but Hunter has literally not touched that mid lane turret all game, so this is the first time it's actually even taking damage.
And the damage it's taken so far is pretty much negligible. This is a very, very high lead. 19 minutes in, almost a 5,000 goal lead is pretty significant at this point in time. And maybe something you wouldn't expect. I haven't had the fortune of watching too many CSL games this season, but considering both UPikeville and CMU were 6-3 heading into this game, I expected it to be a little bit closer. Now, the game isn't over yet, but man, UPike have done a very good job so far.
Yeah, a lot of very strong players on UPike, as evidenced by especially their jungler Mash. He put in so much early work, and even though he only came out with 2 kills, those are still two very, very big kills to take. However, Carnegie Mellon University are not without strong players of their own.
Carnegie Mellon?
I keep saying Carnegie Mellon. Central Michigan.
No worries.
I see CMU and I'm just like, oh, that's CMU. But yeah, Central Michigan actually have some very strong players from their school. Also have some very strong alumni from their school. Did you know, Seamoose, that Tim Allen went to Central Michigan University?
The Tim Allen?
Yeah, the Tim Allen.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that.
Big fan of Tim Allen, so I was like, hey, this is his school. Because I think they mentioned that several times, and it shows, whoa, double lift! Just can't get away from the perma-slows there, and winds up getting taken down. Prine is able to escape, luckily enough, and he's going to make it out alive again, but unfortunately is having to play a very defensive role. And it's 1v3 right now, could be 1v4. They decide to stick around. Yeah, it is 1v4. Nice counter there. Oh my gosh, that riposte. So sick. But is it sick enough to save his turret?
I sort of feel bad for Prime because in this situation he almost has to feel like Dyrus. He hasn't really gotten that much support, only 1 gank from the top lane. Hollywood and A now in the spot lane. Just looking for the kill. Can he get it?
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Pop goes the Weasel, or the Israel. Something along those lines. Yeah, he,
Close. I'll give that a 5 out of 7.
Yeah, that's pretty generous there, man. Oh, man. Oh, the problem. The chase down.
Q, can he land it?
One more. Oh, no, the flash. Oh my gosh,
Oh my
the
god.
counterplay.
Oh my god.
What was
We got that recorded.
That
was going on the highlight reel.
I got proof that happened, man. That's pretty darn incredible.
Holy crap. Baby Birdo just got absolutely taken for a ride.
I mean, when you think about Baby Birdos, they don't really have that much counterplay. They just kind of sit there and look cute. They like cheat
Aren't
a little
Birdos
bit.
like the unlovable Mario Yoshi clone
that's
thingies?
true, yeah.
Why would you ever name yourself after a Birdo? Is the question here. Baby Birdo, if you're watching this VOD, please don't hate me.
Yeah,
but
or just
I
like
sincerely
this-
question your name.
Send us a fast little tweet about like why you would want to associate yourself with Birdos, man.
Seriously.
I hate those guys.
Oh man.
But as a support champion, he did have that sick roam top lane that helped get Prine his only kill of the game. So
He did, but unfortunately then he just got absolutely outplayed by Hollywood and AZ.
man, that definitely feels bad, man. So
Yeah.
pretty good plays there by Hollywood and A, and you can see the reason that there's so
Oh,
much.
the damage!
Oh man, the big Trundle pillar stopping the recalls, stopping the escapes, and there's one kill by Hollywood and A on a rampage. Another one as Oliver Queen cashes in for his second kill of the game, and man, just so much synergy between these UPike players. Hollywood and A, keep in mind, he's the guy they heavily banned out with so many mid lane bans, and he's still going on.
Yeah, and that just probably is leading CMU to second guess their game plan. If we can't ban out the enemy mid laner, what do we do to come back in this series? Because it is a series, we're not just in a one-off.
That is true. There's always comeback potential, and yesterday we actually saw a team come back from being so far behind. So best of threes.
This far behind, wow.
Do go all the way. It was pretty close to this far behind. I think it was like 12-4 or something. It was pretty ridiculously far behind. But then game 2, it was just as much of a stomp in the other direction. So
Well, we'll see. Central Michigan University, whether or not they can come back from this. At this point in the game, I don't think it's likely a 10,000 goal lead after 23 minutes, especially with the way death timers are now. We're at the point in the mid game where if someone dies, that's like 30 to 40 seconds that they are out of commission. So that's going to be inhibitors taken by Pikeville. So CMU have to make sure that they don't lose any members in the next few moments.
all right, well, keeping yourself alive, definitely a good ability to have. And to
Well-
be fair, Lulu's a great champion at helping you do that. So when they group up, Lulu's always going to be there to, help save the life of whoever it is that gets caught out, which hasn't always been the case over the lane phase. So we might see less deaths due to that. The only problem is that if you're saving people's lives, that's obviously done defensively. And you've got stuff like this Baron Nashor, which is already starting to see some action around it, with wards getting cleared out and UPike starting to set up for taking that objective.
Yeah, UPike could certainly take that objective without too much trouble. I feel like they aren't incredibly tanky just yet, so the Baron would deal decent damage, but the question is whether or not CMU would be able to catch the Baron taking time and follow up. Now, Zed has been split pushing this bottom lane for a while. Hollywood and A, in a 1v1, might actually not be able to kill Prine simply because of the outplay potential there, but that's something we'll have to keep our eye on. The real question is, what is the rest of the team doing? The Big Red is pushing the top lane, and it looks like Christian Gross and Oliver Queen are going. Oh, ultimate onto Hollywood and A. He's going to be taking a lot of damage here. The vitals haven't been procced just yet. Flash coming in, and Prime gets the shutdown.
Gosh. And she did that sexy move with Fiora where you dash and riposte at the same time, because she knew, hey, I'm going to take this death mark damage, but I can't riposte the death mark, otherwise he'll get away. So she took the death mark damage, didn't kill her, and then dashed into spells that could have killed her, but riposted them and got the damage off. Absolutely sick play, and Prime, man, after so much adversity this game, is able to kill the strongest member of UPike, man. If that's not comeback potential, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I definitely think Prime is the #1 player, at least, this game for Central Michigan, considering been involved in literally every single kill that the team have picked up so far.
Yeah,
and with
very
the
impressive.
top lane, only died 3 times, is actually very, very well done.
And as a top laner too, like you have to be very, very resilient. Like sometimes things just don't go your way. You're gonna go 0-6 in games that you're still playing your A game, and that's only gonna show up later on. So that's kind of where we are right now. Prine clocking in for a 10-hour shift. He's got pretty much more items than anyone else in the game. That Muramana still hasn't completed for Shyfron, but that's the thing about blue build Ezreal. He can make games draw out very, very long, you know, clearing waves with his ultimate, or just, you know, slowing you down, and Fiora does scale up pretty ridiculously well. Oh, unless you just dash in like that. So, I mean, Prime will be able to get away safely thanks to Hunter helping out, but definitely don't want to be dashing in without the rest of your team.
The wave clear is decent, like you said. But the question is it going to be enough? It's so hard whenever you're being sieged against by Nidalee, because even if you land a counter poke, the Nidalee is just going to be able to heal the enemy team back up again. So we'll see how exactly UPike approach this and how CMU defend.
Well, the defense for CMU is, like I said, going to be okay with Ezreal to clear things out. And, oh man, there's a big binding on to double live, so he's down to half HP. Plus, when you're defending, you can get back to base to heal and then go back to defend, whereas it's a much longer trip for everyone on you know, a UPike. So maybe an advantage to be had there, but in the end, it's going to come down to whether or not UPike can put on enough pressure to disengage and get Baron, or maybe make some big rotational plays. And Baron is the play that they're going for. It's spotted out by a blue ward that's placed in the back of the Baron pit. So everybody knows Baron is being started, and
it's going down pretty low.
Yeah, there's double lift back towards the back. It's down below half HP, and oh, Deathmark there to try to snipe him out there. Double lift pretty low, trying to follow up for the damage. Hollywood, though, getting in there, but the Baron's still very, very low. Is there anyone there for the steal? It's down to 1,000 HP. No steal possible, because Big Red did get that, so...
That was close, though, yeah. Mash mistimed that a bit.
Yeah, missed on the smite a little bit. Prine is trying to get exit kills. The snipe is good. Shyfron from downtown. Baby Birdo, though, he might just be giving away a kill. That black shield, even through the flash, is not good enough. Or it is good enough to keep him alive there. Prine needs to be careful. No punishment after that Baron buff. And oh, man, Prine going back in again. What? I don't know about that decision making. He's trying to do the utmost, but a little bit over-aggressive there.
Probably should have just taken the one kill and gone. For now, though, Shyfron, I think he'll be alright. Yep, can just Archon shift on over. And now, 4 Baron buffs are still remaining on the members of University of Pikeville. So, if they wanted to, they could probably push one of these inhib turrets down. They also have the 3rd Dragon buff available to give that 5% global move speed, that Dragon's Flight buff. And it looks like that's maybe what they're going to be going for first, as Mash has just respawned and wouldn't have grouped up just yet. However, Rapid, this is kind of, you know, the final chance. You're talking about if we want to see a comeback. Whether or not Central Michigan University survive this Baron buff is going to be very, very telling as far as how this game goes. I still think it's unlikely we see a comeback, and we're just going to have to see how CMU responds in Game 2. But, you know, we'll see the next few moments.
Yeah, it does all come down to these next few moments. Baron buff is about half gone right now, and no base turrets have been really compromised. There's a little bit of damage down on the bottom and mid base turrets, and a little bit more on the top base turret that's lost about 400 hit points, but those do regenerate over time, and so you really don't have to worry too much about those having been damaged at all, because they're going to be healthy here in a second. However, the bigger problem, like you mentioned, C-Moose, is going to be the Baron buff, and of course all these crazy items that are out there. We had Hunter go for Zonya's after Morellonomicon, which is just super defensive mid lane itemization.
No, he actually went that first.
Oh yeah,
Zonya's
first item,
by,
Zonya's, which is not necessarily the way you want to start out. Usually when you start with Morellonomicon, but
right.
We certainly don't see any death caps. We certainly don't see any Rod of Ages for extra defense there. But this defense is going to be pretty rough.
True Shot Barrage came out, clears the waves to a certain extent, but turret down to half HP. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, definitely don't want to go in. Prime though, getting chunked out, trying to clear out that wave. Will be forced to go back to base, and it will be a little bit of a ways until there is another minion wave. So Prime trading out his life there just to clear the wave. Now setting up for yet another wave, pushing into that bottom lane.
The Baron buff is going to go off in just a couple of seconds, which means that this minion wave actually probably won't have the buff. Perhaps this turret could still stay alive.
Hunter got chunked out so low, so definitely has to be careful. These spears are hurting so much. However, this minion wave is pretty good. Nice grip post, but the turret's gonna fall. Spear will hit there, and flashing backwards, there's a Lulu ult forced out, and this inhibitor is not long for this world.
First inhibitor taken, 31 minutes in by UPike. They have a minion wave pushing the top wave, and they also have a minion wave here in the mid lane. Question is now, without the Baron buff, can they take it? True Sharp Bars is going to clear. Oh boy, Fiora does not want to engage this. They still need to weather this poke, because there's a lot of poke coming out from the University of Pikeville.
Yeah, definitely good to be putting on aggression, though, always sort of testing your limits. The only problem is that you need to... Whoa! Look at Hollywood, gets immediately chunked out there, but not dead. Double if they're pretty low there as well. To Big Red, he's the tank in the front. He's staying alive for so long, you just cannot die there. Big Red finally does fall, but there's Hollywood and A now shredding the back line. Nice Quicksilver Sash usage to cleanse the death mark. Shyfron is still alive, and in the end, that's a 1-for-3 trade, and the turret will stay alive for just a little bit longer, so... Oh no, the flat. What? Okay, Oliver
Interesting.
Queen. They haven't failed the city that much, man. Gotta hang on there for a little bit more. But this should be the second inhibitor going down after a death at that mid lane base turret. And yeah, 2 inhibs down at 32 minutes into the game.
Yeah, there's testing your limits, and then there's trying to engage when you're 12,000 gold behind. And that's kind of what Prine tried to do. We saw him just get blown up. Right idea as far as, you know, like you said, you want to see if you can still push the enemy back. But I think at this point it's simply just a matter of numbers. And the numbers are very much in favor of University of Pikeville. I guess they have a lot of math majors on their team.
Yeah, a lot of numbers that look pretty good to me there. To be fair, though, we did see Shyfron with a nice outplay on that Mercurial Scimitar, able to cleanse the death mark and stay alive. He's also, 2-1. He's doing pretty well. And
yeah, well, it isn't as if we haven't seen pretty good plays.
Oh no, this time not going on to the player with a Quicksilver Sash. Prine, does get a nice riposte on the death mark damage, so lots of ways to counter this Zed, which might be comeback potential there, might not be.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's comeback potential, but it's still impressive that Central Michigan have been able to show off, like demonstrate their ability to outplay UPike. But the thing is, they're just so far behind, and that's a question of, was it strategy? Was it a lack of vision? It's something they can take and learn from. However, both of these teams are 6-3, so they're not guaranteed to make it into the playoffs. Winning here solidifies a team to make it, but it doesn't actually guarantee them, if I'm not mistaken. So the losing team here, even if you learn a lesson from it, if you're denied the playoffs, then what's the point of losing that game and learning then? Sometimes you just got to go for the win and try and make those playoff games.
Yeah, definitely coming down to the playoffs. Whoa, big flash, big engage. There's the Braum ult as well. Oliver Queen kind of getting locked down there, but big ult coming in from Prine, trying to chunk down the tanky front line, but he's not going to be alive for very much longer. Double lift now, the one to get shredded. There's the death mark in the back on to Shyfron. He will need to QSS that if he doesn't want to take damage, but actually just doesn't. So I guess he was okay.
Probably it. 3 members down.
Yeah, and this Nexus turret about to fall as well. You can't regenerate from that as the super minions come in and go down. That'll be 3 inhibitors down, and of course this Nexus turret not lasting very much longer. Shyfron and Hunter are still alive, but at the end of the day, this is going to UPike. They will take down Central Michigan University at 34 minutes with a 20-5 score. So yeah, congratulations. What did you think of game number 1, Seamoose?
It was 35 minutes long, but it was pretty fast, all things considered. You really off of the back of Mash's early game, and then Hollywood getting absolutely massive on that Zed ended up snowballing the game really, really well. And I was impressed because it wasn't necessarily their comp didn't seem like it was a great comp, especially from behind. But Rapid, if you have a comp that sucks from behind, here's the pro-Korean tip. Don't fall behind and win the game.
Easier said than done, somewhat, but it's still only game number 1. We had a somewhat non-standard pick and ban phase for game 1, so maybe depending on what changes there, we could see a different outcome for game number 2. But until then, we are going to head out to game number 2 and take a quick commercial break there. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we've got game 2 between University of Pikeville and Central Michigan University, so you guys don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, hit that follow button right down below the stream, and remember to support our sponsors, Brain Gear, Asus Republic of Gamers, and Twitch. Big thanks to them for their continued support, and we'll see you back here in just a second. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Collegiate Star League's League of Legends season. We're in the second half of the season. We're in the second half of our series. Well, kind of. It's a 3-game series, possibly. So, if it's 2 games, then I'm right. If it's not, then we get more League of Legends. Either way, it's a win-win. Welcome back. My name is Reed Rapid Melton. Of course, joining me once again, I was about to say as always, but it's good to have Seamus Seamus Anderson along with me, along with you, along with us for the ride. Game number 2 is coming up, and we're already into picks and bans.
I'm glad to be here, Rapid, and looking forward to these games. I do know that there's a lot of fans of Hollywood NA that are fans of his Ahri play in particular, and we saw Lux Orianna Ahri banned against him in the last game. Let's see if it's going to be banned again. You got to wonder if they're going to let him have Zed after his performance in game number 1. I'm not sure that's the case.
Yeah, that Zed was pretty ridiculous. But instead of banning it, you can always just first pick it. So that's always, something that you can do if you don't have a ban to spare. They're still banning Lux. They're still banning Orianna. There's no reason to assume that they're not just going to ban the Ahri as well.
The question is, though, what if their mid laner isn't a Zed player? Wow, they actually ban away the Trundle. That's interesting because Trundle had the highest kill participation in the last game, but I don't know if that was the reason why they necessarily lost. And that is an open Ahri for Hollywood if he wants it with the insta-lock.
And oh baby, yeah, there we go. Hollywood NA looking to show us the big time tonight in that. However, there is no bigger time than prime time.
All right. That was better than just prime.
Yeah.
You at least made it a word. But.
Well, either way, it's an interesting struggle for the top laner. How do you carry when you're so good, but you take so much pressure? Man, you got to do the best with what you got. And that looks like a first pick Elise. Elise, one of, if not the strongest jungler right now. So definitely very strong pick there. And with a Nidalee banned, we're going to have to see a little bit something different from MASH this game.
Yeah, the Elise is certainly one of the strongest junglers in the game. Runic Echo has only served to make her even stronger, even though she was plenty strong with Runeclave. And the interesting thing is, instead of playing Rek'Sai, Elise will put a lot more pressure into the early game. So that'll probably help CMU. Definitely the early game is where they faltered in game number 1 and got snowballed on. But whether or not they're able to continue throughout the early game and then playing well into the mid lane game is something that has yet to be seen. Hunter is going to lock in Kalista, and Kalista Morgana, if that's a support Morgana, that's an interesting lane because that's not a lane I feel like I've seen in quite some time. They're both good champions.
Right. And to be fair, for Central Michigan, they actually did play out their late game or their mid game a little bit better than their early game. They were able to hang on, able to get a couple of kills. Prine has some really awesome split push power and wound up killing off Hollywood and A 1v1. So that was pretty cool. So in the end, it's going to be about doing better in the early game. So maybe pick some more early game champions. We'll see how this matchup works. Especially interested in seeing what the jungle pick is going to be for UPike. Graves and Corki were 2 big 80 carries in this sort of league of 80 carries that didn't go picked in the first game. No picks, no bans, and we'll see if they go through this time around. It's a Janna lock-in for the support on UPike.
Yeah, Janna, same champion we saw in the last game, so nothing really different there. And Lucian as well, so that's, again, it's a interesting composition to say the least. A big red locking in this Olaf. I wonder if that's going to be jungle Olaf or if he's actually going to be playing that in the top lane for himself. But likely, I think that's going to be a jungle Olaf. I feel like that's the case.
I'm actually kind of thinking the top Olaf.
Really?
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. I haven't seen Olaf jungle for a while. It's certainly viable, and you can definitely transition there, but I don't know. I think it's more of a flex pick to say, hey, look, if you want to pick a champion against Olaf top lane, I got a lot more coming your way. And to be fair, Olaf does pretty well against Lissandra. You can't CC him when he's running at you, and well, I guess you can always run away, but we'll see where that's about to go.
Yeah, if this is the lock-in, though, Lissandra and Echo, that means that might be a top lane Lissandra and a mid lane Echo, which would be a huge amount of ability power from CMU's team. And also, mid lane Echo. Whoa. Hold on.
Yeah, I saw that shake up. So
okay. So
it's a lock-in on Corki, which is kind of interesting. That it's going to be a mid lane Corki instead and a top lane Echo.
Yeah, curious. Echo into potentially Olaf isn't. It's a matchup I feel like the Olaf actually wins pretty handily. I don't see any way in which Echo could really harass him unless he lands some amazing time winders in lane. But okay, so
Wait,
you
that's
might be right.
That's a Diana. So, man, we got all kinds of wackiness going on. Is that Diana jungle? Like, what is
This
going
is
on
gonna be
here?
so interesting. There is so much burst pick assassination potential from the Pike squad. They can just get onto you and crush you.
So we've got an assassin in the mid lane, we've got an assassin in the jungle, and we all saw how effective both of those players were in game number 1. So, man, this is looking kind of questionable. Now, to be fair, for Central Michigan, they do have a black shield, which is definitely going to help against all that magic damage coming their way. And they've also got a cocoon, so that does mean that, or a cocoon and dark binding. So they're able to sit at a turret and siege with a lot of poke damage, and if you land either one of those spells, somebody's going to take a lot of damage. Plus, they're great for disengage. Morgana just in general is pretty good for disengage, and you don't want to fight inside an Echo where that parallel convergence can just stun your entire team and really turn the fight around. So, so a lot of stuff to watch out for. Carnegie Mellon, I gotta keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that all night long. Central Michigan University, definitely having a much different draft here in game number 2. A lot of different strengths and weaknesses, and we'll see if those are good enough today to bring them back in the series.
Yeah, they certainly need to have a strong game 2 if they want to be competitive in the series, because the composition they're up against is pretty similar to game number 1. So as long as they don't freak out and get snowballed on, they might be okay. We'll have to see.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break so that we can get into game and see. So in the meantime, if you guys want to see one of these 2 teams win, let us know on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at CStarLeague. Tweet us up and let us know who you guys want to win. Or if you have any other comments about tonight's games, definitely let us know. It's twitter.com/CStarLeague. And let us know. In the meantime, do you want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors at Twitch, Brain Gear, and the Asus Republic of Gamers. If you guys are wanting to pump up your brain with Brain Gear or pump up your game with more, great hardware from Asus ROG, definitely do that and then go stream something on Twitch, because that's what we're doing. And we hope you guys enjoy the show tonight and stick around, because when we come back, we'll have game number 2 between Central Michigan University and UPike. UPike leading 1-0. So don't go anywhere. Stick around, and we will be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sea Star League. Game number 2 underway. UPike versus CMU. And I'm already going to go ahead and switch things over and make sure that the scoreboard is updated. And we are good to go for game number 2. Seamoose, what are we looking at here?
Well, we are looking at CMU with their backs against the wall after losing game number 1. Switching up their style a bit, like you said, whereas even though they're different champions, stylistically, Pikeville are using a fairly similar composition. Now, the key thing to look out for here is Double Lift. He tried to make waves in the early game, last game, on his Rek'Sai, but the thing was he simply just wasn't as strong as the Nidalee from MASH 29. So now that he's on this Elise, can he have a bigger influence for his team? Because he definitely needs to do so.
Well, Seamoose, he's definitely going to have to. And to be fair, whenever you play Rek'Sai, you're making waves because you've got the tremor sense, so you got to have that to help yourself out. Either way, sound waves or actual waves, he is going to have to make something work. And man, Jungle Diana, I actually tried this out a couple of days ago. Really? I started playing top lane Diana, and I've won every single game. So I'm like, hey, if it's this good, let's try it out in the jungle. Not as good. So,
no?
Well, at least not as good for me. I am not as good as MASH, so I'm excited to see what he can do with this champion. Jungle Diana does not take a lot of damage from the jungle. You shield yourself over and over again. If you start blue buff, you get a lot of shields and mana regens. You don't have to worry about sustain. And your ganks are actually pretty good, but you have to hit 6. So not as much early pressure as that Nidalee in game 1.
Yeah, so that might give a little bit of respite towards this CMU squad, because obviously MASH had a huge impact before on the Nidalee, but the thing is though, there's a small amount of crowd control, at least in every lane. You have the Olaf slow, which still counts as a little bit of CC, Ari charm as well, so I could theoretically see MASH maybe going for some kind of gank if he knows that his solo lanes have been dueling a lot and the potential is there for the CC to land. Speaking of CC landing though, Christian Gross, yeah, that's a nice bit of damage there.
Yeah, that damage made possible thanks in part to a skill you don't actually see used all that much, and that's the Sentinel skill. Yes. It means that you deal 10% of your max health when you get hit by the support and the AD carry. Like, people don't realize how much health that actually is, especially even early on. You're taking a lot of damage if you get autoed by both of them, so definitely have to watch out for that. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, this kind of hyped up Ari from Hollywood NA is putting in a lot of work, able to get both procs of her Soul Sphere. That is called Orb of Deception. There we go. Where did I get that name
Thinking
from?
of Callisto,
Jesus.
maybe?
Yeah, I guess so, man. Got some souls all over this.
We're using spears too. I didn't know that Ari.
I think I said sphere, but yeah, it could have been spears.
Spear.
I don't know.
Oh.
Well, we got Mash up to the top lane. He I definitely know all of Diana's moves. Double Lift though, we'll scout him out and see him walking away. At least sees the ward that he just walked on top of. And so this time around, the Big Red is the one getting all the gank pressure up towards the top lane. And man, how do you go from Fiora to top lane Echo? I don't know. We actually saw top lane Echo. I believe Huni played it for Immortals this weekend in NALCS. So
that being said, though, I don't know if the Immortals, if we could even consider those professional level games just because of how far ahead Immortals seem to be from the rest of the NALCS.
Yeah, it was definitely a league all their own. Although, with as strong a performance as we saw in game number 1, UPike may be in a league all their own. We have yet to totally confirm that, so we'll see how well that works out. But yeah, in the meantime, we haven't seen anybody go back to base. I'm just going to organize the champions so that everybody is where they are supposed to be, and that should help us keep up with everything a little bit better.
Oh, that binding landing, that's a lot of damage. Christian Gross, yikes. The Rend trading in. Christian Gross and Oliver Queen, they didn't have an incredibly impressive lane phase last game, and it looks like CMU's lane is actually beating them into 2v2. Another binding lands onto Janna.
Christian Gross, to be fair, if you guys are unfamiliar with Christian Gross, he's a professional football manager and former player, so if you guys are a big fan of that, then that's where the shout out is from. Hunter, wow, good thing that Ari is not one level higher.
Yeah, Hunter had his barrier up, so even if Hollywood and Nay ignited, there's no way Hollywood could get the kill without having a spirit rush there. And it looks like actually Double Lift is in the mid lane trying to make something happen, but the thing is,
I think he walked out of the bush there for just a second, so yeah, you can see pings going on right there saying, hey, look, some stuff's going on down there. But yeah, the Big Red, man, starting to have some struggles up top.
forced to flash away too. Prine did very, very well in game number 1. You know, for the amount of time that we saw Prine die, really didn't give a great example of how well Prine was playing. And now seemingly winning lane as this Echo. Speaking of winning lane, Hollywood and A. Oh boy, that was risky.
Oh, Prine might get punished for this. Gets out from underneath that turret with 80 HP. He's trying to run himself away. And the Big Red can actually sustain back up from low health because he's got a lot of attack speed from Berserker Rage. And Vicious Strikes is going to do a lot for that as well.
Yeah, I know that Prine wanted to go for that. That could have been a kill maybe if he played a little bit better, but that was certainly a big risk. And now the summoner advantage that he worked so hard to obtain actually ends up not really mattering anymore because the minions are even. Spectre's cow is completed, so Olaf is going to be quite tanky. And with a Catalyst as well, Echo isn't going to be doing that much damage, so I don't really think the potential to get the solo kill is there. Opposite of solo kills, of course, is ganking. It looks like Double F is trying to make a 2v3 situation happen. He lands the cocoon. That's a lot of damage on Christian Gross. Forced to flash away immediately.
Oh, but that binding!
Down.
So good. Teleports, double teleports on the bottom lane. Some flashes back in there. And oh, the Big Red trying to get in onto Double Lift. He runs in. He's running back out, trying to save Christian Gross. Another huge binding there. Massive effect. And now
Here comes Mash.
First blood down, but we might see some more blood here as Mash comes back into bottom lane. Or comes into bottom lane for the first time. Taking a lot of damage. There's the Red. The binding hits again, baby. Birdo on fire.
Mash was trying to get a counter gank going there, but the thing was, he wasn't level 6 yet, so he had no real way to contribute in that team fight. And CMU, very, very solid. 2 kills picked up.
Wow. I don't have more to say than that. Then some great bindings. Now Double Lift, though, he's doing battle with a whole different foe in the jungle. Almost goes down there to the red buff, but he's not going to broken shard it up. He is okay in the jungle, and we'll see how well this mid lane is okay there. Hollywood and A had an unsuccessful first ultimate. We'll see if his second one's a little bit better, as Hunter just really hasn't been playing against him. He's just been, killing the waves at maximum range and not really dealing with Ahri at all.
Yeah, that's what you need to do in that situation. Of course, Corky is a marksman, AD carry, if you want to call him by his traditional title. So the thing is, he's not very great in the 1v1s. He's all about that sustained damage. Whereas Hollywood and A on an Ahri, a champion literally designed to just burst you and then not do anything for until cooldowns are up, is the exact opposite of that. So pushing those waves like Hunter's been doing is very effective. And Christian Gross, now he's caught out.
Yeah, Baby Birdo going forward will land the follow-up binding a little bit early on that, but these Ren stacks, way too much damage. Shy Front able to come in with his first kill of the game. And in the meantime, you know what Big Red did after he teleported bottom lane, Seamoose?
What did he do?
He killed a Scuttle Crab. And as effective as that is, I'm not really sure that it's worth losing half the health on your tower and an entire wave of minions. So, it does make Prime pretty strong.
In my professional opinion, so long as he typed #worth in all chat, it's okay.
Well, I do not believe he did.
Ruined.
I actually can check all chat right now and indeed reveal there has been 0 worths typed.
Oh man, yep, that could be it then.
In the meantime, we do have the Rift Herald being started out here, which is kind of interesting. Rift Herald immune to crowd control, but it is not immune to the big giant eye on the top of its head. I feel like if you're a supervillain, you probably don't want to wear a giant billboard that says, "My secret base is located here." Similar to the giant eye, that's your big weakness there. Big Red, though, he's trying to fight out on the top lane, putting down a lot of damage, but unfortunately not enough to 1v2 there. Ulting over the wall there. Hollywood wants to get in range, but I don't think even with 3, oh my gosh, still almost made it work with the flash. Trying for the utmost, but it doesn't work out.
Still, that's
Mash.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think he can get it.
Nope. I think he's just gonna have to back out of here. Does throw some scare into Double Lift though. Important to note is that Rift Herald gives you Baron empowered recall, so you don't have to wait the full 8 seconds. You get it in 4. And that did help Prime get back to base a little bit ahead of schedule. However, blue buff being stolen away, Mash still gets kind of a consolation prize. So he heads out of the jungle there.
Certainly, UPike definitely far behind, or not incredibly far behind, but facing a pretty tough hill to climb, at least for now. Mash 29 is looking to make this gank happen, but the thing is, Mash is over a ward, so there's no way in hell this is possibly going to work, right? No way.
Right?
He's getting counter ganked on. This is bad
yeah.
now.
This is pretty bad. He should definitely run away here. Discretion, the better part of valor in this situation. And yeah, you can see him marks him with the moonlight and heads on out of there. Meanwhile, I mean, we got a good push from Hollywood in the mid lane. Even though he's not killing champions, he's killing minions. He's about 10 CS up there in the mid lane and putting a lot of damage down on that turret.
That being said, though, for as hyped as Hollywood's Ahri play was supposed to be, we haven't seen anything impressive too far.
Using the package, heading on in there. Big burst of damage down. A cocoon misses. Hollywood and A forced to use that Spirit Rush defensively this time around to make it out alive. Top lane, though, we got a big action. The 1v1, the duel to Big Red. Taking that burst damage. Has to flash away. There's the flash damage. And one more auto attack. Prine on a killing spree. Showing what he can do if he's not getting ganked all the time.
EMU Prine. Certainly put his team in prime position there to keep snowballing off of this team.
Oh, terrible.
See, the thing is, I could have just said that, and we could have just casually moved on with our lives.
No.
But now that you have to call me out on it, rapid.
You gotta, no, yeah, you can't keep getting away with it. And similarly to that, Prine is not gonna keep getting away with overextending and winds up going down to Mash in the top lane.
All right, Breaking Bad references, I see you.
Hey, gotta make up for that one.
Whoa. Didn't you make a Prine reference, a Prine joke, like 10 minutes ago?
Hey, don't try to offload the blame here, C-Moose.
So, do as I say, not as I do.
There you go. All right.
Casting
All right, parenting 101 here. Yeah, gotta get those basic
Okay.
principles of co-castership there.
Okay.
Well, this is a very okay game for Central Michigan.
Oh, this is more than okay. This is good. This is good.
Kind of a night and day difference between game 1 and 2 here. And so this is what game 3s are made of. Just big comebacks here. And CMU way off to a good start. And it's off the back of Prine, who got really shut down in game 1. Now he's actually doing extremely well.
Yeah, Prine going Rod of Aegis, obviously an item we see very, very commonly now. Simply as far as item efficiency is concerned, it's very efficient to build on AP laners once it is completely stacked. Blue team picking up Dragon. And yeah, they don't have a game-ending lead, but they have such a comfortable lead. And they're going to scale pretty well into the mid-game, so they're going to feel comfortable in any sort of situation.
A lot of changes you see there on Mash. He's forced to go back. Well, at least back out of the situation. Probably not back to base. But yeah, some big zeros in columns I did not expect to see. Hollywood and A specifically, not really having a great game. He hasn't died, but he also really hasn't made too much happen here. Baby Birdo binding, is it gonna land? Yes! Oh my gosh, ulting into it. So much damage there. Mash gets the double jump. He's gonna find one kill. Oh, flashes over the wall, but Prine's right there. Shilling Smite will deter him.
Mash survived.
And man, Mash survived. Baby Birdo survived. What was that flash? Oliver Queen just flashed for no reason.
Really?
I think he hit the D instead of the B there.
Awkward. Ooh, even more awkward. He doesn't have flash anymore.
Yeah, exhausted, so he can't get away. Of course, he is still Janna, so won't be in the worst situation.
Renslow, this could still be bad for Oliver Queen.
Oh, another cocoon! Wow, that angle! Great angle on that, and double lift able to pick that one up. Oh, jumping in. Prime with another kill. This is 4th of the game. Just really great decision making by Prine here in game number 2.
Yeah, this has certainly been pretty much the opposite of game number 1, in which we saw CMU lose the early game and UPike just completely snowballed the game in their favor. Turrets haven't even been taken down rapid, and the gold lead is already heavily in favor of CMU, and they're only gonna keep going with this.
Mash is going in, he puts a bunch of damage down, but that repel should keep her safe for now, but no, Mash just waits it out, and he's gonna find another kill. The Big Red wants to go forward for another kill in here onto Prine. Prine, though, will ult back in underneath the turret, and that'll mean Big Red, pop goes the Viking. My favorite party game, definitely.
You hang out with some pretty crazy people then, my friend.
Yeah, man, Viking parties are so cool. Gotta try one of those out.
All right, next time I'm in a Scandinavian country. Turret didn't go down, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta, fight for the higher good, right?
The higher good. Indeed. Indeed.
Gotta protect those turrets. Hashtag save the turrets. Turret lives matter. There you go. They are definitely important, and they're still alive. Unfortunately, some kills getting traded back and forth there. Mash, really impressive on this jungle. Diana has the entirety of her team's kills, so can't say too many bad things about that.
Yeah, Mash, that being said, though, with all those kills, the burden pretty much falling onto Mash, the only one doing any real significant amounts of damage. Hollywood and A certainly isn't weak by any means. Completed Merlinomicon, boosted Lucidity as well. But in terms of carrying the next few team fights we might see the next few minutes, that'll definitely be mostly on Mash.
Mash definitely putting up a pretty big performance, and while turrets matter in the mid lane, yeah, turret should go down here up top, and yeah, not too many ways to
press F to pay
deal with
respects.
that.
Goodbye,
Definitely
Mr.
do
Turret.
not want to do that. Oh man, ult in the bottom lane. There's a chase you see on a Christian Gross. He is still having some struggles down there, and those red stacks are going to get taken out of there. Shyfron on a rampage. Here comes Mash, but he can't land the Moonlight, so he will not be going in on there. You can jump in just to get your Moonfall off, but Crescent Strike kind of a must to get that double damage down.
And I guess I was wondering when I looked at the preview for these two teams, they're both 6-3. I was expecting a close game for game number 1, but instead what we got was a stomp in one direction. It looks like, Rapid, we just might have a stomp in the other direction for this, and that might push us to a game 3. Now, we're only 17 minutes in, so I don't want to say the game is over, but a 6,000 gold lead at this point in the game is pretty bad.
Ooh, Hollywood and A forced to ult, and there's a perfect repel. These repels have been on point there. Double lift. He's not playing Rek'Sai, which he still looked pretty good on, but he is managing to make those big plays even still. And Hollywood just has not. The 0-1-1 score is not what the champion that I saw deserve a ban. Oh, that Janna shield. Nice.
Cheeky. Yeah, very cheeky there.
Saves the turret life for one more second before these Rift Herald empowered minions push in again to take it down.
Rapid, I want to touch on the fact that you said, though, for all the hype, the bans from Ahri, this chat that on the stream, going crazy for Hollywood's Ahri, what has he done so far?
He's ulted defensively a couple times, and he's landed, I think, 3 charms. So credit where credit is due, right?
He's not too impressed.
He's up to 10 CS, rather. To be fair, the mid lane's not going to be what decides this game. It's going to be a battle between the 80 carries and top laners, both of which are incredibly strong there for CMU.
If it's a battle only between the ADCs and the top laners, then, my friend, this game might as well be in CMU's favor right now. The good thing is, though, their jungler is still very, very strong. But I just think CMU is stronger.
I feel like that's fairly empirically provable. Sea-Moose, unlike the existence of sea-mooses, which I feel like is very difficult to prove.
Whoa.
Saying you're imaginary, man.
That was out of nowhere. Where did that come from, man?
I've been thinking about it, man. I was like, what is a sea-moose and where do I find one? It's like
Well, you're speaking with one, so prove that.
Man, difficult. I could be making this entire conversation up. It's all in my mind.
Maybe these games are all in our mind as well. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, if you're a fan for CMU, this game is definitely not made up, and CMU have been giving UPike the walloping.
Hey, did you know in South Africa, esports is actually called mind sports?
Is it really?
Yep. Oh my gosh, that
Did you
burst
know that
was
in South
disgusting.
Africa, Corkis don't exist?
I did not.
And neither in this game. Corki has just been deleted from the game after that.
Yeah, Hunter.
Brutal.
They hacked
ban.
into the Matrix and was like, "Hey, this Corgi champion, you don't get to exist anymore." Took him
Hunter
out.
died so quickly he wasn't able to use his summoner spells. That was just instant deletion. Yikes.
Yeah, definitely don't want to have that repeat performance. Encore is that probably not going to work out. But to be fair, a kill's a kill, and it's one way to get back into this game for UPike. They're down, but definitely not out yet. They're down 2 dragons and 3 turrets, and that's a big struggle. But they do still have, a lane phase that hasn't been totally devastated. Olaf's still farming it up in the bottom lane. So he'll be mildly effective. The only problem is that he's still going to need to run in onto Shyfron, who's incredibly strong and has so much kiting potential. Olaf's only CC are axe slows, and with boosts of swiftness, even though it's a 20% attack speed slow on the AD carry, going to help her kite a lot more effectively.
Yeah, the thing is, Shyfron now has not only is incredibly strong just based off of Callista, but based off of the fact that he's completed Runon's Hurricane, Blade of the Ruin King, Boots of Swiftness as well. There is just little to no chance that UPike can actually hit him unless he gets straight up caught by the charm. And I don't really know if that's happening just based off the positioning we've seen from Shyfron so far.
Binding's gonna land there, Mash in a little bit of trouble, but who's stuck in where with who? Nice Fate's Call to Pulp. Morgana over the wall.
Oh,
what? I don't know about throwing him that direction. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade.
And the turret was taken down, so technically still worth for CMU, especially because they got Mash. But there is a split pushing Olaf.
I mean, Olaf's doing work, but top lane, that's where the real work's being done as the second tier turret falls. Fourth turret of the game taken by CMU, and as Michigan retreats, ooh, Doublelift has his recall stopped there. Hollywood, another ult ineffective. I mean, Big Red's still, no, actually, no, not going to get that turret.
Nope, he has no damage right now, literally none. All tank stats, and he's going to have to run away from Prine here, but Prine is level 13.
He should try to fight him in the minion wave. Those minions deal a lot of damage over time, but does not want to walk through that tri-brush, trying to run away, but I'm not sure that's really going to work out. A Z-Drive Resonance movement speed boost is just way too much to handle.
Yeah, and just the fact that it's going to happen over and over and over again.
Jumping over the wall, there's the ult for some extra walk away, but not going to work out. Might have actually tried to fight there at low health because his attack speed would have been so high, but not meant to be. Prine going for the chase. Able to pick up the 12th kill of the game for Central Michigan.
If I'm not mistaken, UPike are one of the teams with a heavily dedicated analyst staff, correct? I do know they have a Twitter that's occasionally active.
It's true. They have a very active Twitter. It's UPike_esports. If you guys want to go follow them there. It's where they tweet about all of their esports action going on. So definitely a big fan of colleges with esports programs. Can't speak enough to the importance of that in developing the scene. Whoa, Prine, a little bit greedy there. But bottom lane though, Doublelift. He's going deep to allow Shyfron and Baby Birdo to put a ton of pressure down there on that second tier turret. Mash is trying to get the flank in from the side, but he's actually not going to be able to do that. Doublelift getting the black shield and walking away.
Yeah, missing the Crescent Strike there means that there's really nothing they can do. However, since it's only 3 members of CMU in the bot lane, I don't think Central Michigan will actually be able to pick up that turret. So the gold lead is still significant, still definitely bad, very bad, but hasn't gone to the point where the game is yet over. 2 inner turrets are still up, so the inhibitors haven't really been breached either. You know, UPike, they could still maybe find a way back in this game.
I mean, yeah, they definitely need to take some objectives. They were able to find their first turret kill down there in the bottom lane, so hey, at least that's effective, right? The only problem is they don't have a top lane or a mid lane or an AD carry, so they got to get something going in one of those places. I mean, Mash is one way to do that, so having him top lane to support Olaf and just maybe turn things around is definitely a good place. However, you got to stabilize the rest of your lanes too, and so you can see Hollywood backing up a little bit prematurely, knowing that he might face a little bit of pressure from both of those CMU carries.
Yeah, and an interesting situation that's developed now is, since we're in Season 6, wards are less easy to come by, right? That makes vision control even more valuable, which means that teams that can successfully clear wards are just going to be able to push their advantages even farther. Hollywood and his team need to find a way to make picks, because their team composition is great at finding picks. However, they can't even get into their jungle to control the vision.
Right, yeah, and that's a big difference. Good point to make there, Seamus. You can see nothing but blue wards in the top half of the map, except for a couple of red ones. And the bottom half, much more controlled. Whoa, big burst there. Nice knock up that just off of one charm. Mash able to turn that into a kill.
Yeah, that's the pick power that they have. It's something they're going to need to replicate, but they do find the kill. They might be able to go for this dragon, might want to push the mid lane instead. but there is a very large amount of wave clear from Corki, Callista, and the rest of the team. So it looks like they're going to start this dragon. It's going to not do too much damage. Probably should be theirs for free.
Dragon going down here, and yeah, taken away. That's the first dragon of the game for UPike. So, I mean, I don't want to call this a comeback or a turnaround or anything crazy like that, but we saw a turret and a dragon both go in UPike's favor. They've been finding kill by kill and might be starting to turn this at least you know, mildly sideways.
Mildly sideways indeed. For now though, they're not going to be able to take the turret because there's just too much wave clear. The Echo, the Morgana provides some as well. The Elise even. If they continue to do this, I don't think they're gonna be successful, but we'll see. They have a cannon wave. Oh, nice charm.
Charm on the baby Birdo.
Great
Dunzo
charm.
out of there. Not alive for very much longer. Now, Hollywood did get stunned. They try to take down Prine. Oh my gosh, so much damage. And the blade for the kill. What happened? 26 minutes in. Is this just like, you know, the coming of age? The turret falls. The big red doesn't care. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Shyfron has been doing this entire time. He's probably going to be able to pick up this turret. Okay, there we go. But the question is, was that worth it? Because now the map is going to open up for UPike. That was a pretty interesting decision by CMU to split up their AD carry there. I think they should have just grouped as 5 and pressed their advantages while they're ahead.
Yeah, I'd love to see the gold change stats there, just because I feel you take turrets, kills, dragons, all of that's going to give you a big gold swing. And you can see the gold count at this point in game 1 was about 10,000 gold. Now it's only about 3 to 4 or 4 to 5,000, 5 to 6,000 gold. There we go. Whew. Got that math eventually. But now coming up on Baron, that's the big decider. Games won and lost at this objective, and we're seeing it started up. To be fair, Mash is on his way, but can he get there in time?
Hunter's pretty low. This could maybe be risky if Mash gets the steal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, why didn't he go in for it? The steal was so close, but I guess better safe than sorry. Didn't want to throw away a kill, and just gonna have to hang on for a little bit longer.
And that's interesting because recognizing that CMU were starting to lose grip, they went for the sort of risky Baron there, and they were able to pick it up successfully. So that's those combat stats now, and of course the enhanced recall, which isn't too significant, but also the minions are going to be much stronger, which means their ability to take turrets gets even better. You see Mash, he's looking for something here. It's another team, or another turret going down in favor of UPike, so they get a little bit more back, more gold back in their pockets, but they're still about 6,000 gold behind.
Can they make the comeback though, man? Baron buff is just so difficult a storm to weather. You have to be able to put enough pressure on so those Baron buff minions don't just kill your turrets by themselves. So, man, rough decision. But keep in mind, another big difference between this game and last game is that in game 1, UPike, or CMU, yeah, lost all of their outer turrets before UPike pushed in onto them with the Baron buff. So this time around, they can't afford to give up these outer turrets to this Baron and then just say, hey, we've still got our base intact. We'll make our comeback a little bit later on. But they are doing a good job defending this turret. And when you look at the team composition, you can see, hey, Diana is going to scale incredibly well because she's so far ahead. Hollywood and A not going to scale incredibly well, but you know, Lucian, the more items he gets, the stronger he's going to be able to just, like, you know, dash forward, put out a little bit of damage. Whereas for Shyfron, Callista is much more of like an extended team fight kind of champion where you want to get a lot of auto attacks over the course of quite a while.
Yeah, discussing the scaling is certainly tricky because neither team has champions that scale incredibly well, but Prine breaking down that top lane inner turret, or inhibitor turret I should say. Red almost looked like he wanted to fight there, but he's still at a mismatch, I think. So far behind.
And with Christian Gross getting chunked out there, this lone Baron buffed cannon minion putting in some work. And keep in mind, Baron buff has a quarter of its duration left, so the second tier turret in the mid lane definitely out of there. And top inhibitor, even that's getting pressured by some of this minion damage.
Rapid, the thing is though, there is a huge wave in the bot lane, and the turret was chunked down earlier. So if UPikeville are able to protect this, they might be able to get another turret and get a little bit more gold in their favor. Whoa!
All right, that is what I like to effectively call a big play. Top lane though, big plays being made by Prine as he takes down the top inhibitor by himself. Not enough help there for the Big Red as he is able to chain these axes forward. Brian's gonna get chain CC'd, but so much burst movement speed off of that Z-Drive resonance.
Shyfron was able to make it to the bottom lane and has Hurricane, so he's going to be able to clear it out. And another victory for CMU. They have taken the inhibitor down after about 30 minutes of play. And they're still looking very, very strong. Although, you know what, Rapid, I wonder what the players are feeling right now. Because the kills are actually 12-8. And I know oftentimes when you're in-game, the most important stat as far as looking at and how far you feel ahead and how comfortable you are is, of course, those kills. And in terms of kills, it's kind of close. It's not really that far out of reach for Pikeville. You know what I mean?
Definitely not out of reach. So this game could turn around just like we've already seen it sort of turn around with some picks in the mid lane. But still not looking super great as, you know, still that inhibitor down in the top lane. Maybe that'll just give the Big Red a place to chill out and make himself useful by defending that inhibitor for the rest of the game.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, if the waves keep pushing in and CMU don't get anything else off of this, then one inhibitor down isn't going to be that hard to defend. It only means more minions will push into your waves, and you get to farm more, basically. Dragon being taken is very good by CMU because it puts them closer to the 5th Dragon buff. They're currently at 3. 2 more to go, about 12 minutes before they have the chance to have that really, really huge spike in power. But the real question is, all eyes on this middle inhibitor turret. Are they going to be able to poke down University of Pikeville and get this turret down? Because if not, you know, this could still be a close game.
UPike are able to wave clear pretty effectively, and like we said, they do have you know, a good way to stop those minions from pushing up top lane. However, the Big Red was chunked out a little bit, low on mana for clearing those waves. So even he is forced to go back to base as this super minion wave pushes in.
So we'll see now. Corky is going to be able to provide a lot of poke. The cocoon and the binding as well. Just look at that.
Look at how effective this split push on the bottom half of the map is too. Like, you really can't say enough for the effect that Prine has had on this game. Able to push down the top inhibitor. The same situation in the bottom lane too.
Well, Prine has certainly impressed me as one of the best players, at least in this series for CMU. Based off of Game 1 performance and now also on this Echo. Ooh, Shyfron got hit by that Crescent Strike, I think. Yeah, he did. He dangerous game here.
Yeah, he does have a Quicksilver Sash, so he can actually QSS off the Moonlight proc. So don't have to worry about getting jumped on twice, but does have to worry about when exactly to use that. Because there's stuff like that. Yeah, the charms coming his way is probably what that QSS is there for.
Yeah, the thing is, though, the engage from UPike is just not really strong. They don't have real engage. They need to land a skill shot, and that's not really strong. Ooh, maybe.
Whoa, all right, there's Zanya's, but is it good enough? Whoa, flash away, all right. All right. He's out of there. No, just kidding. Okay, yes, just not kidding. Nice dodges there, man. Mash has got some moves, but are they big enough?
Working on this inhib the entire time.
Nice save there with the Gen. Old Hollywood and Ace survives another day, but with one inhibitor down, 2 inhibitors, and the third finally falling. CMU, they're making their case for winning this game.
Certainly. 1 inhibitor, not too hard to defend. 2 inhibitors gets pretty hard. 3 inhibitors, exponentially harder. I think I've only seen in competitive play 2 comebacks from 3 inhibs down, and that was, one of them was shortly after the first inhib respawned. So this is looking really, really solid for CMU here. They're trying to push us to a 3rd game in this series. That being said, though, with Nexus turret still up and the Nexus still standing, UPike can make a comeback happen, but I think as far as team compositions is concerned, it's just too hard at this point.
Man, a little bit of downtime, so thankfully we can have 2 seconds this game without all this craziness happening, but waiting around here is not killing super minions, and when there's 2 of them pushing in every single lane, any sort of attempt at stealing or even fighting this Baron is going to mean your base just dies. Now, both Nexus turrets are alive and well and pretty healthy. Top one's lost about 800 HP, but yeah, you have to sit in lanes and clear these waves out, otherwise the minions just win the game. So Mash is going to try for the Baron Steal and Sentry, goes in, no Baron Steal, and without an Echo ult to get himself out to safety, he is out of there. So now it is 4v5, v Baron, v Super Minions, and there's even a teleport in from Prine. trying to make his case.
Baroned up supers, 45 seconds before matches up. This is a 4v5, and then you have mega super minions. We are definitely going to be going to a third game.
Yeah, there's, I mean, you could just AFK at this point, the minions might win the game for you. Big Red, he's going to go down, or not. No, he does make it back out safe and sound, but these turrets will not. There's Christian Gross going down, and man, like we said, comebacks definitely possible. That's going to tie this series up at 1-1. As Central Michigan University come back in Game 2 to take us to a game number 3.
Yeah, and both games between these teams have been stomps in either direction, so considering that they're both 6-3, we could definitely expect them to be close. However, let's see if game number 3 will be close of a game or if it's just going to be a stop again.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have game number 3 coming your way. Before we head out, do want to give a big shout out to our sponsors at Brain Gear, Asus, Republic of Gamers, and Twitch for helping make this season of CSL possible. Definitely check them out and check us out in a few minutes when we come back with game number 3. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.